What is it like being a Jamaican in the Bahamas? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, the founder of Jamaicans.com. And today in Jamaicans to the World, I talk to Cavel Walker, a Jamaican living in the Bahamas. Welcome, Cavel. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. What go on?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So tell me which school, where in Jamaica you're from, which
I
school you representing.
I am from the great parish of Clarendon. I
Nice.
am from Edwin Allen. I did 5 years at Edwin Allen Comprehensive High School. You know, the school that always have the track stars for
Oh,
Pen relays. And I
yes.
did 2 years at Clarendon College.
Okay.
CC. Yeah.
My mother's side of the family is from Clarendon, so
Okay.
a good parish.
Yes.
So tell us your story. How did you get to the Bahamas?
Initially, I had an aunt who lived in the Bahamas. She lived originally in Nassau and then she moved to an island called Andros. And I was working at Clarendon College and teachers were needed here in the Bahamas. And so she reached out to me. I applied and I was able to secure a job with the Catholic Board of Education in Nassau, the capital.
Okay.
But only lived there for 5 years. I got married and relocated, right
Relocated,
back to the yard.
relocated where? Where did
Right
love
back to
take you?
yard. I went right back to yard.
Oh,
That yard. So
so love call you back to Jamaica.
yes, and when I went back, I was living in Montego Bay out by Rosal, and I was working at Herbert Morrison High School. And I worked at Herbert Morrison for 6 years. And in my sixth year, I got a phone call, and it was from a different island, Grand Bahama, someone who had worked with previously at Herbert Morrison. He was at a school, he recommended me for a job position, and so I came back to the Bahamas. Never saw that one coming, and I ended up on a different island, different experience.
Wow. So love call you, and then the Bahamas call you back.
The love is strong on both ends.
All right. So this is interesting. The Bahamas have quite a few islands. I would venture to talk about it, Cays and so on and so forth. Um, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but you've been at Nassau and you've been on Grand Bahama. Which one you liked more?
Well, when I lived in Nassau, obviously I didn't know anything about Grand Bahama. So I enjoyed Nassau for what it was. But can I tell you, I was astonished when I first arrived in Nassau on the island of New Providence. Reason being, well, I didn't do geography as a major in school, but I thought all islands had mountains. So I was like, where the mountains them there? you know? I had to get used to the place being flat, but I enjoyed the 5 years in Nassau. The people were friendly, open, wonderful, caring. My experience was good. But Nassau is small and lots of
Mm,
traffic. Grand Bahama is in the north, while Nassau is more central Bahamas. Grand Bahama is in the north. So for Grand Bahama, you find that it is a larger island. So there is so much land space. It is the second city. Freeport is where I'm living actually. And
okay.
it is more laid back. You don't have the hustle
Okay.
and the bustle. It's quiet. So people who want to retire, here's a great place to retire.
let me ask you this because I've been to Nassau and I don't think I've been to Freeport, I think, on a cruise ship. Which one is more touristy, in your opinion? Is it Nassau or is it Grand Bahama?
Definitely Nassau, since it's the capital, and you will have access to different, varied experiences, activities, and history, that kind of thing. Here in Grand Bahama, things are a little bit different in Grand Bahama. um, in Freeport specifically, yes, you have tourism, but it's more the industrial island of the country. You know, where you have the oil, where ships come to be cleaned and worked on. So there's a big shipyard here. That's a big deal here. It's one of the premier places in the world that ships and yachts and boats will come. Boats are made in this country,
Right,
right? And so it's more industrial, but you do have the tourist aspect to it.
right.
And then I did a stint 1 year on the island of Abaco.
Oh, so you island hopping.
So yes, I would have come into Freeport, Grand Bahama, working with the Methodist board, right, teaching at St. Paul's. And I only worked with them for 2 years. I went back to the Catholic Board of Education, whom I would have known in Nassau. And then they sent me to the island of Abaco. Abaco is beautiful, way much more laid back than Grand Bahama, but very great land space, big houses, a lot of history. It's like
Right.
stepping into a history book in terms of the loyalists who came across from America.
Hmm.
And the beautiful water is the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen. Actually, that island has two of the top 10 beaches in the world.
Nice.
Treasure Beach, Cocoa Beach. So I enjoyed Abaco,
You
but then
sound like you sound like you miss it.
yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. And
Let,
then Catholic Board needed me back in Freeport, and here I am.
so let me ask you this because you know Abaco, and hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. Um, were the people a little different there? No, again, I'm generalizing here because since it may be less people there, it might be like when you go country and everybody say, "Hey, Miss Cavel," and them stop and whatever, and then in Freeport or Nassau, people are in a rush, even though it laid back. I don't know. I'm just asking if that's the experience with the people on in Nassau, Freeport, and was there a difference with the people in Abaco?
Well, generally speaking, I find Bahamians to be friendly and helpful. That has been my experience. I love the country very much, the Bahamas very much. It's been very good to me. What I noticed in Abaco is that people were more neighborly. You know, as we'd say, country. So you find these islands, they don't say country or they don't say rural Bahamas, they say
Mhm.
family islands. They call them family islands because they're not as developed as Nassau is.
I see.
But people are more neighborly.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about food. What is the one thing if we come to Nassau or we come to Freeport or we come to the Bahamas that we must try?
Well, you will go anywhere on these islands, and I have to say, it is conch salad. They are big when you come on to their conch salad. Now, I have a confession to make.
All right.
I've never eaten it because raw. I'm not really big on seafood, and
Uh-huh.
it's spicy and peppery, and it's raw. So I've never had conch salad, but I've had conch, like cracked conch fritter. I've had it that way, and they tend to put the conch in their peas and rice. So
Oh,
the conch is very important here, and then the shell.
and
Use the
and
shell to make all kinds of decorations, that kind
and,
of thing.
and I heard you say peas and rice, which I know in the Bahamas that's what they say. And in
Yeah.
Jamaica, we're like rice and peas. I've had debates with Bahamian friends on this.
They definitely cook that differently from how we do it back home in Jamaica, with our coconut milk and thing. Here,
Right.
they are going to put their conch in it, and they just do it differently. It's done way differently.
Let me ask you this. In terms of the conch, I know conch is a thing. It's a big, big deal there, right? It's almost like, there's a couple drum pan who have the best drum pan chicken. Is it very competitive in terms of, hey, who met the best conch? Is it that type of way, conch salad?
Well, I've never experienced that. Probably they would do that in Nassau, like when they have a regatta. Regatta is a big competitive sailing sport here. From year to year they would have regatta, and when they're having regatta, of course, people come out with their different delicacies, in Nassau. But I've never experienced where there is like a competition per se centered around the food.
Okay, I see. And and in terms of festivals and events and so forth that they have, you tell me about one that you really enjoy apart from, you said the regatta, but is there anything else, any big
Okay.
celebrations?
Well, all right. So for Nassau, they have John Kuno, and they also have it here in Freeport, Grand Bahama. So John Kuno is a historical practice. The slaves, would have brought their musical genius from West Africa, where they would practice their drumming and their dancing and the way they sing and the way they would dress up. And so here in the Bahamas, John Kuno is a big, big, big deal. What you find is that the whole community comes out and participate. The young, the old, the middle age. I find here, in terms of community, when it comes on to John Kuno, it's such a big musical affair. Every child knows how to play a little musical instrument, right? So they have the shake shake, they have the rake and scrape, the greater the rake and scrape, and they will have the competition of like costumes. The costumes tell a story, and the dance movements tell a story. So that's always a lively affair um,
Nice.
for the new year here in
And
Freeport and also Nassau.
so you're basically saying, because I know John Kuno has kind of died down a little bit in Jamaica, but you say it turn up over there.
Up, 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 big time.
And I know the beaches there are beautiful, as you had mentioned. If there is something that you would say, it may be an event, maybe it's the same event we just discussed, or a place that you say, if you come to Freeport or you go to Nassau, here is something that I recommend you must do. What would that thing be?
Definitely going to the beach. The sand here feels like walking in powder. The water, it's just so picturesque. The water has this aquamarine color. I have never gone anywhere else in my life. I know it may exist elsewhere, but anywhere else and seen such beautiful water. And then on the beaches here, you will find so many different interesting things that Bahamians use to create art with. The shell, the bramble wood, whatever it is. I find Bahamians to be very artistic with
Okay.
with the simplest of things. I have some paintings here in my home that students have painted. I don't know. When it comes on to art and music, they are very creative.
And
So definitely the beach.
okay.
Definitely the beach.
Music, you mentioned music. What are you hearing there? What type of music is not even dominant, but what they play? Are you hearing a lot of reggae?
Well, that's the thing about the Bahamas. It has so many different cultures here, right? But one of the things that's outstanding here is hip hop. They love hip hop music. You see, the Bahamas is very close to Florida, more so even Grand Bahama, the island, right? By boat, we're what, 50 miles away. You can
Right,
jump on the ferry. And that's one of the things I appreciate about living in Freeport, Grand Bahama, that access, that ease of access to travel to Florida if needs be, to do your shopping or just to rest and relax. You know, um, hip hop is a big deal here amongst young people, and they love reggae. They love Mr. Barry's Hammond. They love their Barry's Hammond. So they love Jamaican music. They like the Jamaican culture, and a lot of Jamaicans live here. You have police officers, teachers, nurses, doctors,
nice,
maids, people work in the hotel. You
right,
know,
right. So
Jamaicans.
is there like a Jamaican Bahamian association and where you all get together for like maybe independence and have like a little get together or that?
That's definitely in Nassau. When I lived in Nassau those 5 years, I was a part of the Hummingbird Association. We would go around to different events and perform and share Jamaican history and our folklore and our folk songs. And when independence would come around, we put on a big event.
Nice.
Bahamians would come and enjoy it. The two countries have a good relationship. But here in Freeport, it was one of the first things I inquired about because that creative side of me, I got to use it in Nassau. But when I came to Freeport, I heard that they never had an association anymore. So that's
So Cavel,
that.
that that is an opportunity for you once is settling and the pandemic cool down. It sounds like we'll be talking to you as the head of the Jamaicans in Freeport.
It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
But
Not
I
a
know you're also studying, and actually
Yes,
not. You're
studying, and then I'm teaching too. And
right,
I
right.
teach history, civics, social studies, world history. Those are heavy content subjects. It keeps me busy.
Good, good. Now, your students, anybody asked any curious questions about Jamaica that you said, you have to kind of clarify for them when they hear you're Jamaican?
Well, the students are fascinated by Jamaican culture. They like how we teachers in the classroom will talk sometimes or patois. Well, for me, only like if I get annoyed, I switch. That's when the patois will come out of me. I find that sometimes I may use little Jamaican sayings sometimes in the classroom, so they'll find that fascinating. And so Miss, what does that mean? When I say to them, like, listen, man, I don't want no fenke work, no fenke work around here. They want to know what I mean by fenke, pia pia work. So the patois comes out, and they like that, and they would do like English literature, and they have to study, some of the Jamaican poetry. They'll come and say, Miss, what does this line mean? What is this stanza saying? That kind of thing. And they'll say, oh, they want to meet they want to go to Jamaica to meet find a Jamaican boyfriend or things like that. But you know what they love? They really love how Jamaicans make curry. They
Oh,
love curry and they love how we do oxtail. So they here's a big foodie place. Bahamians
right.
love to come around and gather around with food, right? And so they enjoy Jamaican food.
So it sounds like you, when you say you cook, people are coming over or showing up at your house just to,
Yes, yes,
you
that
know,
can happen. That can happen.
stop
And
by.
sometimes you do potluck. Sometimes you do potluck. You bring it at school and you share and exchange, because here in this country, you don't find many Bahamians choosing teaching as a profession. They tend to go into banking, tourism, fishing, um, they will do accounting, and so they usually recruit teachers from all over the world.
I
Right. We
see.
have that melting pot of cultures and
Right.
we'll share and exchange. They have events over here like where they will come out and set up booths and you display different things from your country and the food and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Mhm.
Cost of living, what is it like there?
Like any other island, I would say that living the island life is expensive. This is a country that imports everything. It's not like Jamaica where we have, a strong agricultural sector. They have been making strides where agriculture is concerned because the soil here is a bit different and the place is extremely flat, but they have made strides in terms of backyard farming and they
Okay.
have a farming association. The government is really encouraging Bahamians to venture into that. They do hydroponics. They're finding different ways in which to engage the citizens, the residents in farming. But
Right.
it's very big on importation.
Okay. So I won't find a ackee tree, or I won't find
Oh, oh,
a
oh,
Julie
you
mango.
find it. You find it.
Oh, you
You
find it.
find it. Oh, of course. People plant these things in their yards. And if Bahamians have ackee tree in their yards, they'll share ackee with you for you to cook it and share it with them.
And your
Say,
mango tree, you're saying your mango tree is there, and you're finding
yes,
all
you'll
your
find
fruits
it's
and
fine.
things.
No, it's not like Jamaica, no, where you have this whole variety of fruits and vegetables and that kind
Okay.
of thing. But
You had a look on your face when you say variety. You have a favorite mango, and I can see you thinking about it. What is that favorite mango? You're
you
thinking
got
about
me.
it.
You got me there. You got me there. Julie. I love my Julie. I love my Julie. I don't get my Julie here.
Your husband have to send you some Julie mango season coming. So
Yes, freeze it and send it. Freeze it and bring it come. Yes.
so Abel, I appreciate you spending some time with us and giving us just a little taste of what living in the Bahamas is like. I'm winding down and I have a scenario for you. So you land in Jamaica. What is the first thing you're doing when you land in Jamaica?
Tears flew from my eyes. And I said, no, I know better than yard because I feel so full. When I reach Montego Bay and I can see the mountains, I feel full. I feel home has a different kind of vibe,
Right.
than anywhere else I've ever traveled to or lived. Home is home, so
Nice.
seeing the mountains.
Okay, I get it. In a flat place, yes, I get it. The mountains kind of welcome you when you see them. You're like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
it's a welcoming sight to see.
Yeah, that's where the navel string cut. That's where the navel string cut. Yes.
So, is there a food? that you say, once I get to Jamaica, I have to get this? What is that? Not, we know the Julie mango, but what else?
You know, let me surprise you. Drinking the water from the pipe. That's the first thing for me.
Oh, wow.
The water from the pipe. The
So,
water in Jamaica, drinking water in Jamaica just tastes different from anywhere else. So it's the water for me. And then of course my juicy patty and my tasty patty and the jerk and the ackee and the saltfish and the callaloo, things like that.
do they have like a Jamaican restaurant on your island that you're on now?
Yes, there are Jamaican restaurants here, and there is also a supermarket that brings Jamaican products. So you'll get some things. You'll get like callaloo and ackee in the tin. And also recently, I was amazed in the supermarket. I saw callaloo out of the tin, and the Excelsior crackers and the tin mackerel and things like that you will get.
Nice.
I will buy green bananas and yellow yam
Right.
from time to time, but I don't know. It tastes differently back home than how it tastes here.
So I have another question before I kind of wind down. If a Jamaican was thinking of moving to the Bahamas, what advice would you give them?
Do it legally. Do it legally, and by that I mean ensure that someone has sponsored you for a job and that you have been processed to be on a work permit, because if you do it legally then you can engage, you can be relaxed. They take immigration here very seriously, and rightly so, because every country has to protect its borders, right? And because their borders is over such a wide
Huge, yes.
geographical geographical space, you know, that is a big deal here,
Okay.
immigration. So being
Okay.
here legally,
Hmm.
and they like to employ Jamaicans. They like to employ Jamaicans as long as you're qualified for the position. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
So this is what I do at the end of all my interviews is I ask you to tell me what is the local custom when they're saying bye. Jamaicans, they say a little more or all the ketchup on the strong or you know, how do Bahamians typically say goodbye? Is it just bye or do they use a term?
I gone. I gone. I gone. That's
All
what
right.
I gone.
So Cavel,
The,
thanks thanks
the,
again.
okay.
And how I'm making sure I say it right. I gone?
I gone.
I gone.
Show some love now. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss a video.